Okay, so here we are answering some questions for TrueFire folks. The first question is from Eric Sutz. He said, "Hi Pete, I have a very hard time getting my students to read standard notation. To say they are resistant to this idea is an understatement. Ain't that the truth, brother? Do you teach your students to read music on the staff?" No, I usually teach them while they're sitting in a chair. "If so, do you have material or books that you like to use that is more enjoyable for them?" Is it really about them, Eric? Or is it about us, the teachers? No. Okay, so here's the deal. I think the first thing you have to ask yourself is, why do you want them to learn to read music? Do you want them to learn to read music because you learned to read music? Do you think they're ready to learn to read music? The reason I ask this is because I spent years teaching people, and I thought I was supposed to teach them all to read music, but what they really wanted was to learn to play songs. They wanted to play songs on their guitars that they could go sit around with their friends and play. And if you got a student who shows some real promise, then I would definitely encourage them to read music. And I'll tell you, in 16 years of private teaching, I had one student that showed that kind of promise. You'd think there'd be more, but there really was only one. I started teaching this guy when he was 8 years old, and when he was 16 years old, we had a gig we were going to play together. We were going to do Tommy by The Who. It had 2 guitar parts to it, and I'd been called to do this gig, and I said, "I'll do it if you'll hire my teacher, my student, to do it with me." And they said, "Okay, if you'll vouch for him." I said, "Oh yeah, he can play." And I started working through the music with him. And after about 3 weeks of working on the music, he called me one day and he said, "I've been thinking about this gig, and it really doesn't pay that much, so I don't think I'm going to do it." And to say I was shocked would be the ultimate understatement. I said, "It doesn't pay enough? You're 16 years old, you have no job, you have no prospects for getting another job, and I gave you a gig, it pays some money, it paid, I don't know, $500 or something." I said, and you're going to get a chance to get some real life experience playing your guitar. And I said, and you don't have to worry about it. I said, if you don't get something, I'll cover you. I'll read both parts. I don't care. I just come and do it. And he said, "No." And I think that what it was is he was too scared. He realized he had gotten in what he thought was over his head, but I knew he could do it. And that burst my bubble, not only for teaching in general, but for any kids that showed some signs that they might have it. I realized I was not the teacher for them. So all that to say, I don't know. I don't know the answer to your question, because if you think about it, and you think, okay, I want these guys to learn to read music, because obviously it's better for them if they learn to read music. I think the ones who want to learn music will gravitate towards it. Those who don't just aren't going to. And sorry for being kind of pessimistic, but I think that that's really the case. If you're inclined to be a pro, then you're going to learn to read music. I did. I took lessons and I studied on my own for years and years and years, just trying to get better at it. And so, hope that helps, Eric. Cheers.